Rickard Elmore here, going live. Our topic today is going to be about communication breakdown. And I am grateful to be here. I'm so thankful to Kelly with Wings of Encouragement of really bringing people together to speak about the value of recovery and how recovery works. And so I'm hopeful that I might be able to share a little experience with you based on my valuation of how recovery works for me. And the biggest topic, I think, around communication is first me learning how to communicate with the people that are in front of me. And I started that by really learning how to have a different mindset in my mind around exactly how I was feeling, you know. Before we get started, though, I'm looking to see where other people are from and if they might be able to tell me where you're coming in from, a different frame. Just wanted to see where people are chiming in from. We're going to be talking about communication breakdown today and how that can value your life and how it might be able to increase a person's recovery or be into a relationship with yourselves and those around you that can really lift you out of maybe some of those spaces that you could be in, or maybe allow you to help somebody else out from the spaces that they are. Those of you that just joined us, or those of you that are continuing on, my name is Rickard Elmore. I have been in recovery now since 5/15/05. And before that, my date was 1/28/96. And I found that in the middle of, I call my recovery period, I had a major breakdown. A breakdown of communication, a breakdown of understanding, and I was really just lost again, the same way I had been lost from a place of suffering when I originally started. The idea around this topic today being communication breakdown is what we've found is if we could start a dialogue about what recovery may be for yourself first, it's much easier for you to start sharing what that means to others. And our style of communication really matters depending on who you're speaking to. So for instance, if I'm speaking to my spouse, or I'm speaking to my significant other, or I'm speaking to my boyfriend, or I'm speaking to my girlfriend, or whatever relationship you want to talk about, we all have these ways that we relate to what other people are saying. We have our own interpretation of words. And when it comes to a person suffering from what we call consumption, whether that be it could be addictions, it could be other things that really are in the way of you being able to be happy and connected to your best self. And how do we find ways to communicate with other people that can sort of explain some of the depths of pain that we've been in, you know, and some of the horrible feelings that we go through and the loss of hope that seems to be streaming from so many people. How do we really engage with them and change the language that you're speaking in your mind? You know, for me, I needed to be around people. I needed to be around community. Community of people that could better understand me, better understand what I'm going through, and better understand maybe some options that I have yet to consider to open up. You know, I think one of my biggest feats was learning how to listen. And I learned how to listen. I'm still learning how to listen. I still have a problem at times that I'm not really listening to other people. I just went through this stream the other day with a mentor of mine. And, you know, I've got a mentor, I've got a sponsor, I've got a coach, I've got a therapist. And I really, for myself, have had to work really, really hard to come back from some of that stuff that I'd been through. And consistently, over and over, every time I wake up from another fall down or another sort of an engagement with such a powerful experience. I wonder a bit about how I might be able to share with others a simpler way to not have to be in so much pain or suffering. And I found that the first thing I could do is learn how people communicate. What do you say in your mind? When I wake up in the morning, I think in my mind, I'm going to have an amazing day today. And I focus around, that's what my attention is. That's what I'd like to have. And when things come up throughout the day that are going against my particular goal for that day, I really, at times, if I want to have a wonderful day and thing after thing just keeps stacking up, I don't have this, I really need that, the person is doing this, I wish they would have been doing that. When that stuff starts stacking up, I remember I can go back to a focus point that I had a full intention on. And at early stages of my recovery, this kind of information I'm sharing with you now wasn't available. What was available back then was these strong groups of people that were able to get into community and communicate and share with each other their strengths and their experience. And today, we even find, I really appreciate Kelly for asking me, if I'd be willing to first, but secondarily, if I could share a bit about my recovery, for wings of encouragement to be able to allow access to people so we can just share a bit, share a bit about what we went through. I don't know about you, but I know for sure that when I was really going through a lot of depth of pain and suffering, I never honestly believed anybody else could understand. I didn't believe, even when I said I would believe you, I never really did. Because I don't know about you, but some of the stuff that I had went through was so painful that I was embarrassed to express it because it made me feel like there was something wrong with me and I was just trying to find some help. So as you can see, even my own mindset and communication at this time really did not help me out of the problem. It sort of supported me to stay in it because I had no vision of hope. I couldn't get into a frame in my mind that I could see outside of such a horrible experience. And luckily I found recovery. I found some other people through community that started talking a bit about how they went through some of that stuff. And I met some other people that I started believing in. And then I started really feeling good that I wasn't the only one out there that was really struggling through all of these problems. And what I'm hopeful for during this communication with you today is I can find a way that I could share some of this information with you, but also we can have a dialogue. I'm seeing Megan check in. She's been in recovery since 2014. And, this being my first time live, there's a lot of streaming coming in. And my intention and focus with what I'm saying sort of is a bit off balance, to be honest. I think mostly I'll, over time I'll learn how to read back and forth these texts coming in. But I'll also be able to share, some of my triumphs in recovery. For instance, when I had 9 years of a particular model of recovery, and I had a regression, or you might want to call it a relapse, and was determined that maybe I wasn't going to be able to live any longer because of the effects from it. And when I came out of that, it was almost like I sort of woke up to there's so much more that I need to do to really let go of some of this pain I had, to really look at, how much of it is my story or how much of it is a story that was given to me, and start looking more through the windshield instead of really looking in the mirror. Because I don't know about you, if I get moving too fast and I keep looking back too long, I end up falling down. And I needed to find a new route so I could really take on this amazing community of recovery that I was in, but there was this desperation of pain that was still inside of me that I hadn't quite understood how to let go. And that's where the communication inside of my mind started shifting. I started looking at maybe some of the things I could do for myself to come out of this problem. Back then I was really into looking at everybody else as the reason why I was where I was at. And I started looking into the people that I was around and my environments that I was in and see if they were supporting my best health and my best recovery. And yeah, I got to say that even though I was looking to change, I could only change so much and so fast based on my ability to even have reflection of my own self. And in doing so, I was able to really sort of, I don't know, I used to tell my story a little bit different, like what happened when I was 9, what happened when I was 11, what happened when I was 14, and 15, and 17, and 19, and all these detailed tragic events. But I woke up, what I was trying to communicate is I too have been in pain. And when I try to explain it to you in my own detailed experiences, I'm trying to validate how much it hurt. And increasing that story and saying it in a way caused me to sort of carry it along with me. And my whole job is let go of some of this stuff, not carry it on. And I started learning from some of the old timers, some of my mentors that were saying, hey, Rickard, there's some other ways that you can take a look at it. Why don't you give yourself a bit of a break and breathe? And just calm down a little bit, because you have been through so much. It's going to take some time for you to alleviate it or let it go. And I really was always in a rush. Sometimes I'm still in a rush now. But I've learned to get there a bit early. I've learned to be more accountable to my own process. I've learned to really engage with recovery in a way that causes me to at least have the best opportunity for me to feel good that way, and for me to have a positive effect on those around me. It's an incredibly rewarding thing to be. And I got to tell you, there's not just one way of recovery that works, but you will know if your recovery is working if things start getting better inside of you, body and mind, and connection. And around you, environment, the people around you, the relationships that you hold, the conversations that you have, the goals that you are in place with. And when you're able to have a balanced recovery, it's so much better for your life. When normal life situations come up, and in particular times in your life, a normal situation for that particular time isn't a normal situation, if you know what I mean. But because it's where you're at, it's really congruent with that frame of life. And if I were to sort of share with you anything before we close up for the day, is I would like to share with you hope. And I know for sure that my recovery has at times felt like it was going to break me. But it was really at a point in which it was strengthening me. And I've been asked to come on here. Again, I want to just sort of thank Kelly at Wings of Encouragement for having us on. And if there's anybody that would like to have more communication with me, I think you can share it on here, and they would allow us to come back on. I'd love to have some back and forth conversations to help people out, maybe some real life situations that you can take responsibility for, and I say that because I'm really looking in the mirror and I'm saying it to me in my reflection, which is I need to start being more responsible for the things that I do if I'm really expecting to have the results that I want. And hey, my name is Rickard Elmore. I hope this time with you has really shared a little bit of consideration and some things that you might have been able to found you or your loved ones to be able to help things be in a better way. So thank you so much. Look forward to connecting with you soon.